What it do, boo? Welcome back to the Shantae Jacqueline Show. That's the best name I could come up with, so deal with it. Today I wanted to just jump right on in there and discuss this single mommyville. So today's video, as you can see in the title, is talking about learning how to become a single mom. And when I say that, obviously in the introduction, if you watched it, I have not always been a single mother. So within the past 3 years, I made that transition from being married to now being divorced. He then relocated to a different state, and I'm here. So I've had to learn how to function in that vein because it was definitely totally new to me. So I wrote my list because remember I said in my introduction that I want to get in that thing and get out, so I don't want to keep you all very long. So the first thing I have is I just wanted to share how things changed, right? So you're married, right? You have your spouse. If you want to go out, you be like, babe, I'll be back. The kids are in their room or whatever, right? So that was one of the first things. It was more so I had to plan and prepare a little bit more. I can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna run to the store unless I feel like hauling 3 children with me, or I can't meet somebody for drinks unless I plan ahead and get a sitter. So that was one of the biggest changes. Not the biggest, but that was one pretty hefty change. Another thing was, you can't say ask dad because that's not here. So if the kids want something to eat, you got to get up off your booty and go and do it because there's no one else in the home to do it. What else has changed? Not a whole lot has changed in the aspect. I don't want to get into the details of my marriage because, he's not here to defend himself. So not a whole lot really changed because I was doing a whole lot. But just those were a couple things. So the hardest thing about being a single mom is not having that alone time. So you work all day, you come home, your kids want to talk your head off because they got to tell you about what happened in school because Lil Dre accidentally tripped you on your way to the bathroom and you got mad and you told the teacher and the teacher ain't even do nothing. So mommy, what you gonna do about it, right? So it's like not having that time to just woosah. I take my car ride home, which is like 25 minutes. That is my time to myself. That's probably about the only time I have to myself until they go to bed. So I think that's the hardest thing is not being able to take that hat off and just relax until the end of the night. And then you got to decide, do I want to do something for myself or do I want to take my butt to bed because it's late, but I need to, relax and clear my mind for the day. So that's the hardest thing for me. So I just wanted to just briefly say some things that I do to kind of make things a little bit easier because it's not the be all end all. And when I say these are from my perspective because I'm not here in an area where I have family. So some people who are in an area who have family, things may not be as difficult because you can say, hey, mama, can you watch the kids? Or you can call your cousin, sister, whatever. So these are from my perspective because I don't have family here. So I was pushed in that arena. So one of the things that I do to make it easier for myself is to ask for help. And being very prideful, that was very tough to do. It's not just being prideful. I was going to make an excuse, but there's no other excuse. So I'm very active in my sorority, so I bear down and I'll ask somebody like, hey, do you mind watching the kids? I just want to go out to this yoga class. It's only an hour. I promise you I'll be back right at 7:25. I time it and I want to drop them off at the time that I say and back at the time that I say because again, I don't like to be a burden. But I also need to ask for help because people will help you if you ask. My kids' friends also, they are so the bomb. My kids' friends, if I text them and say, hey, can they spend the night? And more than likely they'll say yes. I'm dropping off at 3 different places. because I don't want to put the burden on one person to take care of 3 kids. So I don't mind dropping off to 3 different places. But that's one major thing, is to always ask for help. Don't assume that you're an island, because you are not. Meal prepping. Meal prepping is huge for me because I cook everything on Sunday, and then I don't have to cook for the rest of the week unless I need to make some cornbread or like rice. But my daughter's old enough to where she'll do the cornbread, or I'll be like, put the water on the stove for the rice or whatever. So I make everything. I have 2 slow cookers. So I know some people don't believe in leftovers, but we do here, okay? So I'll put 1 meal, double it in 1. And then I'll put another meal, I'll double that again in 2, in the second one. So you have 2 days here, 2 days here, so that's 4 days. And then Friday I typically do pizza. Saturday I'll cook because they be wanting something, mommy made. And then Sunday we do it all over again. Saturday I'll probably make enough for Sunday, so that Sunday I can devote to meal prepping. Meal prepping changes my life, okay? When I don't, then you come home, you're trying to get kids ready for practice, and you got to cook dinner. It's already late, so it's better for them to eat, while they're waiting for you to get home. And then by the time you get home, it's like 6:30. They change their clothes, and then we off to practice, and we don't got to worry about eating late when we get back from practice. I'm a big fan of planners, and my planner is in my purse, which is not in this room. But I have a planner, so I use my planner, the actual tangible planner. I also put the things in my phone, and I also have what I call the command center. It's just a dry erase board calendar, and so I have it in 3 different places, so that can help me remember. And then the kids also know what they have ahead of them by being on the dry erase calendar. And then I have several reminders because I forget, mommy brain. So I'll have my phone that'll go off, and then when I'm looking at my calendar for the day, I see what I have to do, and then it's also on the calendar when I'm reminding the kids. So it's always reinforced. I used to just be like, just go with the flow, but then I'll remember at the last minute, oh crap, they have an appointment, or oh shoot, she got a soccer game at this time, and he got a football game at this time, and I did not prepare, and it's tomorrow, right? If I had looked at my calendar enough time, then I could have asked somebody, hey, can you take little Jimmy to practice or whatever. So a planner or a calendar, one in your phone, a tangible one, something, it definitely makes life a lot easier. And another, it's very simple, but say no sometimes, and that's to your children, and that's the obligations. Mom, can you drop me off at the mall? And it's like, sometimes I have to say no, because I'm not dropping you off at the mall. If I'm going to the mall, you want to meet your friends, I got to wait there with you, because I need to make sure that you're going to be okay, because of the world that we living in, it ain't a very nice one. So I'm not about to drop you off 20 minutes and then go home and then come back. I'm going to be there. So sometimes I have to say, not this weekend, next weekend. Or if someone is like, hey, do you want to go out? It's like, I kind of stretched all my people thin. I asked them last weekend, so I'm not going to do that this weekend. So sometimes saying no, or even, can so-and-so spend a night? It's like, all right, I have not had a kid-free night in months. I'm sorry, little Jimmy might not be able to spend a night, but I promise you next weekend, And I don't do that a lot because people do so much for me, so I kind of don't say no when it comes to spending the night and stuff. And the last thing on my list is to give the kiddos more tasks. So when you give them more tasks, there's less things that you have to do. So I have a chore chart. I typically don't do chores. So the kitchen, I have a kid do. The living room, I have a kid do. In the bathroom, I have a kid do. I'll make sure that the hallway is clear, and I take care of my room and the bathroom. They do everything else. They are responsible for washing, folding, and putting their own clothes away. And it makes it easier. So they know Friday when you get home, go ahead and start washing your clothes. Okay, so it's just a week worth of clothes. So most of it at this age, nothing is bleeding through reds and stuff like that. They don't have a lot of those colors. So they just one load, put it away. I wash all the white loads together myself so that I can make sure they're not putting too much bleach and all of that stuff. So giving them things to do and making them be responsible for certain things, it kind of clears your plate. So you're not worried having to spend a whole day cleaning up, which takes from something else that you could be doing with them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just to recap, always ask for help, or don't be afraid to ask for help. Meal prep, people think oh my God, you spend all day meal prepping for what? Yeah, I spend about 2 to 3 hours meal prepping, but it frees up a whole week of having to be in the kitchen cooking. Use a planner. It's very helpful to use a planner and have planners in multiple sources in multiple places. Say no sometimes. Sometimes it's okay to just be like, no, I can't. I'm tapped out. And then lastly, to give your kids more tasks. Some people are like, you give your kids chores? Yeah. I'm teaching them responsibility so that they can know and grow up and they're able to function in this society. And they don't need nobody washing their clothes, and they don't need anybody to wash their dishes. And they know what clean looks like, right? So I'm going to go ahead. Hopefully there is some takeaway from this. Hope not. I mean, not hope not, but if not, you know, you chew on the meat and you throw away the gristle. Is that what they say? But yeah, I have reached my 10 minutes. I do apologize. I said I was trying to do this in 10 and under, but I am 1 minute over. So I thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one.